Hello and welcome to Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, and I'm so excited today. Our guests, amazing. We're going to start with Naila Ansari-Catilo, Africana Studies Assistant Professor, choreographer, podcaster, and performing artist. So nice to have you back.
Woohoo. Excited to be back.
Michael Gilbert-Wachowiak, actor, director, and podcast host.
Sometimes.
And Gabriella McKinley, actor, director, and program director for Ujima Theater, amongst others. I mean, you all have a lengthy resume. You know, we could go 3 pages on each
Like
the
all
stars
titles
here.
Right.
But, you know, we've had you on the show before, but let's revisit your group chat habits. So what are your roles in your group chats? What is your place? How do you react? What are you talking about now?
I've been a lot more active than you. I stopped for a minute because
Yeah.
it was getting way too much, and then now I'm like initiating the group chats in the morning.
Nice.
It's just because every day is like something else
Yeah.
going on, and it's
That's
just like
true.
just a fire
Yeah.
happening.
Lots
So
to talk about.
every day I'm the
Yep.
new one.
So you're the instigator now.
I'm the instigator now. I usually was a not responder for a
Yes.
while.
Or the like emoji, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought about this today because I knew you were going to ask this question. And I haven't changed, but what I do need to say is there's too much going on in them. And by that I mean the stickers, the like added reactions. I like having a limited like laugh, thumbs up, love. Why can you put an emoji to react to what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. So I would just like to have I just need to say that there's too much happening theoretically in the group chat with like options.
Who's in your group chat? Because I don't know anything about
There
stickers.
is you can take any photo and hold down on it and create a sticker. So I'll send a photo and someone will then put like 6 photos of me as stickers to some meme I sent. Oh yeah, it's getting
What?
well yeah. Some of my group chats are like 16 people and getting a little out of control.
16
but-
people.
Have you expressed how you don't like that in your group chat?
See,
or-
but here's the thing. I like it when it's like
Michael, you can't do the wishy-washy.
I like it when we're like making fun of someone else. I don't like it when we're making fun of me.
He said, don't use my stickers on me.
Yeah, correct.
Use them on
correct,
somebody
correct.
else.
It's just there's just a lot going on in like the group chat iMessage situation right now is what I'm experiencing.
Sweet. And I used to be somebody that was like a slow responder. Now I'm like the event coordinator
Ooh.
of my
Yes,
group chat.
yeah.
Okay.
Right? I'm gathering what's happening on the streets and I'm putting everything in the group chat. I'm putting my friends' performances in the group chat. I'm putting my performances in the group chat. I'm putting farmers markets in the group chat. I'm putting honestly, I'm just a real big sharer now.
Yeah.
Right? So I share what's going on, what I see, especially on Instagram. Like I'm constantly sending the new Step Out Buffalo thing or whatever is happening into the group chat.
I love that.
I appreciate that. We have somebody in one of my group chats that does that, and I do appreciate that.
Sweet.
Because you
Keeping
don't.
folks up to date.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So there have been a lot of things to talk about in pop culture lately. We're going to cover a bunch of things today. What's going on in Buffalo, Valentine's Day, the big game, because people are still talking about that.
Yeah.
So what are the things that you're talking about that are in your group chats that are pop culture oriented?
Definitely the Super Bowl is still going strong.
It's still going, right?
Still going strong. Friday, still here. Still, what was this? I liked it. I didn't like it. I had older family members that were like, I didn't get it. Like, why is Serena crip walking? It was just so yeah, I think that's been the biggest one right now of like how people are interpreting the performance.
Yeah, something that we keep talking about are like different Galentine's Day events that are happening. I love that it's such a big thing now because it used to be like you don't have a boyfriend so you hang with your girls. Now it's just girls want to hang out with the girls, so we're gonna hang out with the girls and then also hang out with our guys.
Yeah.
So my girls have been all sending different Galentine's Day events that we could go to and different things that we can attend together and different things that we can, just come together at someone's house and have a good time.
Yeah.
That's what we've been talking about.
We had someone sent a prompt like to the like group chat literally as the halftime show ended, and they were like, that was really fun, and we had like a brief conversation about like what we liked about it, and then someone was like, everyone send their top 3 favorite halftime shows. So
I love
which,
that.
which is fun, but then also I was sitting there and I was like, what do I like, I don't know, and so that was sort of hard to sit there and think about. Also because sometimes there's like like the bias of something having just happened.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
Yeah.
even like Rihanna 2 years ago, I'm like, that was amazing, but like it's only been 2 years. Like some of them we've been sitting with for like 7-8 years, and we've watched them over and over again on YouTube. And so I was like, I don't know what to answer.
So what were your top 3?
The 3 I gave were, I mean, I'm also just like, I said Lady Gaga #1, and there's nothing original about that, but I stand by that.
Your favorite is your favorite.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you know
Yeah.
what's another one that I watched the other day? I mean, I said Beyonce's when it was her.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
that. And I also love that the Coldplay one is really just Bruno Mars and Beyonce.
Right. Right.
And another one, 2 that I said that I've watched recently. See, this is the issue. But I said Prince was also in there,
Yeah.
but then the Katy Perry one is so
Not
good.
you putting Katy Perry
Listen.
over Prince.
Oh no, I did. I
Okay,
said,
okay,
Prince.
okay, Prince.
Yeah,
Okay,
but I'm
okay.
saying, but then,
But
but if
let's,
you watch the
um,
Katy Perry one, and she brings out Missy Elliott, like that one is.
It was good.
Really
It was
fun.
good. It
And
was
what
good.
year? I mean, that is
And it was
past
a peak
Katy
of her
Perry.
powers. It was like she was doing like Dark Horse and
Yeah.
Roar.
Right.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
before we had gone down. No, Prince was in there before.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Katy Perry.
I mean,
Prince
it
is
started
top
raining
5
during
Correct.
Purple Rain.
Correct.
Yeah. Prince is like top 5 of all time.
Correct. But so
Yeah.
it was like stressful because then people were saying like the J-Lo Shakira one is great. Like people loved the I can't even think offhand, but there were just a lot of them, and that when you really start to like list them.
And
Yeah.
even the all-star hip-hop
Oh, yes,
performance.
that was
you
her-
know,
oh, yeah,
that
was-
was,
yeah,
that
that
was
was a
good.
huge one,
But
yeah.
people, it's easy to forget about things until you go back and look at the lists. Because,
Right.
you know, a lot of the ones that are so iconic, I didn't watch them in real time. You know,
That's
like
true.
I just
I did not watch Prince's.
Yeah, but I knew about it. You know, like
Yeah.
now you
Or
still
even
watch it.
I went back and watched Madonna's, and I remember it, but I don't remember in the way I do right now, where
Yeah.
I would remember each thing about what I just watched about Kendrick's. I went back, like, it ends with her doing Like a Prayer with a giant chorus and, like, CeeLo Green, and they're all, and I was like, I don't even remember this happening.
Yeah.
I have no recollection of
Yep.
this.
And nobody talks about Janet and Justin anymore. Like,
Well,
is
that
gonna
got
go?
well because that
That
got a
was
little messy at
intense.
the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
It was like, did he do it on purpose? Did he not do it
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
purpose?
I feel like it comes up it came up like every year for a while, and then it's out of the
What
conversation
people I
now.
think forget about that one too is that one was like the Dr. Dre one where it was a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
It wasn't just them. It was like MTV produced that one. So
Yeah.
it was, I think Britney was in it, NSYNC,
Yeah.
Justin, Janet. It was sort of but that was obviously the one thing that people
Yeah.
remember.
And I think at that time it was controversial, but now it's like,
Oh, that
Yeah.
happened now.
Oh, God,
It's
now
like,
it's
oh,
like-
that's it.
now it's like,
no
okay.
problem.
Moving on.
yeah. Like, it was a big deal that people talked about for a few years, and now
Right.
it's like, wait, that happened. Even though I do have to say, when I was watching Kendrick's performance, the work brain in me was sitting there going, are they going to say this word? Are they going to black out this word? Is there going to be a delay? You know, I'm like all like tech there going, is he going to try to say this word and they're going to try to
Yeah.
bleep it out? I don't,
He
you know.
covered it really well.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Really, he didn't miss a beat, did he?
He didn't.
I
It was so
aspire to be
excellent.
that level of petty.
Petty.
It is like it's an impressive level of pettiness that when he smiled into that camera,
Say Drake?
we were all and I also loved the way it was set up where he kept teasing, "Am I gonna do it?
Yes.
Am I gonna
Same.
do
And
it?"
you're like, you know, you're gonna
Gonna
do
do
it
it.
Well,
now
also,
that you're
we didn't
teasing
know,
it,
'cause,
right?
like, there's a lawsuit going on,
Yeah.
and it's only
Lawsuit.
gonna get worse now. But it was worth it. It was like I'll send $10 to a GoFundMe to pay
Right.
for the fact that we got to watch that.
Well, first of all, none of them need money.
Correct, that's
Those
true,
people
that's
getting
true.
sued
They're
are the
fine.
ones that
That's
are
why
suing.
he smiled when he
But
did
that's-
it. I loved it.
his smile
Oh
and
my
his little,
gosh.
his little bell
And he was so
bottom.
sweet too. He was so sweet looking too.
I know. I think I was so angry. I just wanted aggression because I was so angry going into that, and then it wasn't that. But I'm like, oh yeah, I know what you're doing here, but it wasn't for me to be angry. You know, there's
Right.
already ways you can be angry, but I was like, oh, I just want him to come out and flip everybody off, you know. And no, and then you know, you even go back and everybody dissecting it now. There was definitely parts I missed or like, oh, I didn't see that, and I mean, you definitely noticed Serena, and you knew what that was all
Oh,
about.
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, or if you were at my house where we were watching it, you missed all of what Samuel L. Jackson said because everyone was talking about what they had just seen. Like
Oh,
everyone was
yeah.
talking about the thing that happened right before. So I didn't hear anything of what he said. He looked super cool though.
It was.
I was
I mean,
like,
it was great.
Uncle
There were so
Sam?
many
Yeah,
subliminals, and
Yeah.
given where we are as a
Yeah.
country,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
it was such a great piece of artistry.
Really.
Yeah.
And I appreciate. I mean, it's also very clean too.
Yeah.
So you know, a lot of times people don't think rappers can have these kind of full out dance performances that are
the
on
dance, the
time.
choreography
It was
amazing.
amazing. Everybody was on point, and he made. He made his message clear. Now, if you watched it for entertainment purposes, you watched it for entertainment purposes. But if you wanted a deeper thought about it, then you got that
Yeah.
as well. But I thought it was very bold. I was also, part of me was like, I wonder if the higher ups in the NFL knew exactly
What he was
Well,
going to
what
do.
was going to
I
happen.
think, I
Oh,
think
no.
that's it, because like the media literacy doesn't exist, because people online were like, oh, see, like they've got Uncle Sam. It's like, if you think that Samuel L. Jackson dressed up as Uncle Sam is an endorsement of America currently, then
you're
you
wrong.
are very just a little out of touch with what
Mhm.
Kendrick's trying to say. I mean, he literally is standing in the middle of a American flag broken in half.
Right.
Like that's so powerful and is pretty clear what it's saying. But I agree with you. I don't know if a lot of the higher ups who maybe would have watched a dry run were like, oh, cool, great.
Would have
I don't
understood
think
that.
they got it.
No, they were
No,
like, he
not at
gets
all.
this many streams, you know, put him on.
Yeah,
Correct.
You
and
know,
like I said,
like-
I really want to like rewatch it in the privacy of my own home, because I want to be able to understand exactly what Samuel L. Jackson was saying, because I could feel the importance of it.
Yeah.
But everyone was just so hyped that, oh, he just played this song or he just did this song, that I didn't get to hear any of it.
Yes.
So, but I felt it. You know. what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
Felt
wonderful. I just replayed it today.
Yeah.
And I like showed my class, we were going through all these different subliminal messages. And some were very overt.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great the way that he conceptualized everything. But Samuel L. Jackson, I mean, for him to play Uncle Sam, that was also Django, and having this idea of like the Uncle Tom character,
Yeah.
which is, you know, the real Uncle Tom is not what we think
Yeah.
it is. But it was, I thought it was profound. And I think, you know, Drake was such a tiny portion
Yeah.
Exactly.
of it that people
Exactly.
took that as, but it's so loaded into like colorism, race, where we are as a country in terms of divides, who built
Yeah.
the country, like who gets to wear the American flag, who gets to have nationalism. So there's all these different things that my brain was just like, oh my God, this is great the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even you bringing up, you know, with your background in choreography, what were some of the things that you noticed as a choreographer?
Honestly, that's probably the most black men I've seen at one time performing.
Same.
I don't think I've seen that many black men specifically at one time, and fully technical. Like there was, because a lot of times you get like groups of people and it kind of tends to be like more freestyle, or there's like this perception that they're not able to have this idea of whatever we call technique. But they were so on point.
It was precise.
It was precise. I mean, it was clean.
Yeah.
They all came
It
out
was
of that car.
All of them popped out. I don't know how they popped out, but they.
But still, like in that, I think they came from underground.
Yeah,
but,
that's it.
Yeah.
but still, like in that street stylized way, right? And I think that was so important for people to see, like that street style, but so technically done and
Yes.
so tight. I mean, I was amazed by how beautiful everyone looked from head to toe. And I love that they were wearing the American flag while they were doing it and being so unapologetically black. It was beautiful.
And to show that you can keep that level of artistry. I mean, he has a Pulitzer.
Yeah.
For the words that he's created, but that you can keep that artistry on a stadium level. Because I think
Yes.
some people think sometimes you can't do that, but the fact that, and he's about to go on a big stadium tour with SZA, but like showing that you can still do that, even with what people might not think. Oh, can rap music or hip hop music fill a place like that? Of course it can, especially when you have such care with it in the way that he is, which
Yeah.
is just incredible.
And sometimes the symbolism is simple.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be fireworks and acrobatics and you know, which people are expecting from halftime shows now.
Right.
You know, it's in the art itself, and you're watching an artistic performance.
I agree, because Usher was too much last year with the skates. Do you
With the
remember the
skate-
skates?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
what
mean,
we were
everybody
doing.
started roller skating after that,
and there
though.
were like people that were like showing videos from inside the stadium being like, oh, like everyone here hates it. It's like, well, also it's like not for you. I know you're at the
It's a
game,
game, right.
but it's filmed for television, because
Yeah.
you could see so much of it and you could watch the cameras following him. It's people who know what they're doing for television, because most of us are watching it on TV.
TV,
we're
right.
not at the Super Bowl. Like you're getting that experience being at the game. Like we are watching it on TV, and so I also think the Apple Music, now that they're in charge of it, it looks so much better. Like the
does.
camera from Rihanna on, it's
Oh, it looks
crisp.
great.
Yes.
It looks really nice. So.
I mean, they definitely put a little bit of additional
Uh-huh.
coin in the production
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, and don't get me started on the mass appeal, not for who it's for. It's like you could look at that man's numbers and that is America.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
upwards
The
of like
numbers of-
113 million views.
Yes.
I think it's
Right.
the
Oh yeah.
most watched
Yes.
Super Bowl.
Most watched Super
Yeah.
Bowl. Thank you. 133.5 million watched the halftime
133.
show.
Wow.
And
That's crazy.
That's his streams went up on Spotify alone after that performance on Spotify 430% just for Not Like Us.
Wow. Oh, yeah, it was amazing. And then he brought out mustard.
Mustard,
It
yes.
was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Also,
Amazing.
to win record and song of the year, I know it's not the point, but just a terrible week to be Drake.
It is.
Because,
I know, right?
because I guess I read it's the most awarded single song in Grammy history because it won 5.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So to have that, then this within a
And
week,
it's also a district.
oh, I wouldn't leave the house. I wouldn't leave the house.
And that's because people like it.
Correct.
Like,
Yes.
Come on.
And they
Yes.
also
Yeah.
know Drake is not a gangster. So like
Yeah.
everyone was thinking in their head, Kendrick just said out loud.
He did.
And then his fans got, Drake's fans are still in their feelings, especially the Canadian fans, but like Kendrick doesn't care. It's like,
And-
okay.
When you're good, you just don't have to care. Like, you know what I
It's
mean?
true.
Like he just has that presence.
Yeah. And
You
he's
know?
smart, man. He is so
He is
intelligent.
Yeah.
intelligent.
And to do that live, and like we were saying, there were some technical difficulties. He's obviously got to change some of the lyrics, but you wouldn't have known that he had to change anything.
No,
or do
not at
anything.
all.
He didn't miss
And he
a second.
He kept the rhythm and the flow that he's written, but even with changed words, which I thought was also impressive. That
Yeah.
there was never.
He's so smart.
It had the same cadence and the same rhythm that it has on the track You Can Go Stream. But he was saying in many cases just different words, so the whole thing didn't get whatever the
And
censors
he didn't need
wanted
to say it because the audience said everything.
Well, I
Oh,
was gonna
well.
You
say
can hear
the
them
whole
through the TV.
Ooh.
the whole stadium said
Uh-huh.
A
A
minor.
minor, I know.
not
Ooh, that was.
And he had an A necklace, which I thought was
Yeah, that
classic,
was
and,
cute.
and a flag that had an A on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's.
I like that.
So I did not, because I am petty and bitter. I did not actually watch the Super Bowl. I tuned in for the halftime show, and I did catch some commercials. And I did, catch some moments where Kansas City was not doing well, so that made me happy.
Uh-huh.
But
Zero to 24 was very nice.
That was
That was
great.
really
I was in my
beautiful.
glory
Really
the
nice.
That
entire
was
time.
beautiful.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was beautiful.
I was gonna go to sleep, and then I was like, you know what? This is a great game. Because
Yeah, I
just
was like,
anytime I see Mahomes,
getting
Yeah.
leveled, I
just
was like,
get
okay.
totally
This is
leveled.
great.
I was like, this
He was
is
so
fun.
stressed. Him and Casey just
I know that
on the verge of
mouthpiece is
tears.
hanging out.
Yeah.
just
I don't
to the
like when he
side.
plays with the. He always got like the way because it looks like Invisalign his specifically. So that's why I don't like it because it would be one thing if it was a mouth guard. It looks like he's taking out like his braces.
You know
Anyway.
who else does that? Steph Curry.
Steph
I can't
Curry does it all the
stand
time.
I can't stand it.
That
Especially
is-
if you can see spit. I'm like, no,
Yes,
I'm not here for
it's-
this spit. Any commercials that stood out? I know the Nike commercial was my.
Oh, the Nike commercial was my favorite.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's ways. I always cry at the Budweiser commercial, but I don't.
I didn't think the commercials were very good. And
Yeah.
The only one, the Nike one was good. The only one that comes to mind because it was so terrifying was the Seal one. The one
I
of
missed-
Seal singing. What's the I forget the name of the song, but they were like the famous Seal song, and he was on a seal like CGI'd. It was.
Ooh.
Oh, I think I tapped out.
It was
by
a
that
Yeah.
point.
terrifying
gone,
image.
But
Yeah.
everybody's talking about that one because
It
it
was like
terrifying.
upsetting to watch. I was really, but it's always like they'll show you the most random commercial you've ever seen of people being inspirational, and it'll say like Squarespace.com, and you're like, what are
What-
we doing?
What was that?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
They call that choreographing empathy, where you try
Oh,
to where you
okay.
try to choreograph a lot of people into this idea of something so that they can give money. They do it a lot with like different SPCA commercials or like children with cancer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there was
It's a borderline situation
Yes.
that happens
Yeah.
with some of those commercials.
Gotcha. Okay, because there was a Pfizer commercial with the little kid with the boxing gloves,
Right,
and
'cause,
then they
like-
had the big crowds. Yeah.
Who's gonna say no to that?
Right. Exactly.
And then you
That's
realize it's a commercial that people got paid for, and
Yeah.
it's weird after
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I don't. I'll think about commercials in a moment and forget about them. But I know the Nike commercial. I think after that, because I've just been so frustrated. It was whatever you do, you can't win. So win. That was the big
Oh yes,
slogan.
I saw that.
So I'm like, after that and seeing the Kendrick performance, I'm like, okay, we needed
Let's
a
do
little
it.
fight in
All
us.
those
Let's do it.
women.
Yeah.
All those strong, powerful women. I was like, yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck could go. Was that a Dunkin' Donuts commercial? The
We
Ben
need to
Affleck?
have a conversation
Because I don't know
about
what he's doing.
celebrities
doing that.
used to have shame and,
Yes.
would go to like Japan to do car commercials.
Yes.
And we need to bring back that because it is this is a deeper conversation. We no longer there are like 4 actual like famous like actors anymore because everything's so diluted because of social media and you can obtain everybody.
Yeah.
There used to be a lore. Now it's Jeremy Strong in like a coffee like cup and I'm like what am I watching? Like or like
But who's telling him to do that too? They're like, maybe we'll just see if he'll do this.
we're gonna get Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal back for a commercial. Like it's just I just don't like it.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of the commercials either, but the one that I did really like was Shabuzi's commercial with the nerd clusters.
Oh,
I thought it was
okay.
super sweet.
Yes.
It was a cute little song too. I was like, oh, this is nice, and Shabuzi was singing in his little country accent, doing the doing the nerd commercial.
Shabuzi.
I do support the Nerds Clusters Industrial Complex as a whole. It's the best candy out there.
The
so
kids
I
love
was,
us.
We're
They're great.
going to be talking about candy in a minute. Don't you worry.
Sorry.
But I forgot about
Yes.
I forgot about nerd clusters. How
Yeah.
is that not a Valentine's candy? Because everybody loves them.
It's
and
pink.
and it was like a New Orleans thing too, because he was walking down
He
Bourbon
was.
Street.
He
So
sure
that was actually nice.
He sure
I liked
was.
it.
That was really nice. I loved it.
All right. Well, you know what? We might just pick up with nerd clusters when we
Please.
get back. So, in case you just joined us, you're listening to Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, with Naila Ansari, Michael Gilbert-Wachowiak, and Gabriella McKinley. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about nerd candy and nerd clusters and Valentine's candy, Valentine's Day, all that surrounds this holiday, and lots of love up next on Group Chat.
Support for Group Chat is provided by our members and by the National Comedy Center.
Every time that we breathe in now, there's a new beginning. We're soaring away, we're starting today, so dive with me. We're alive, 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 we're alive.
Thanks for joining us again on Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, and I'm joined by Naila Ansari and Michael Gilbert-Wachowiak and Gabriella McKinley. And we are talking Valentine's Day. However you celebrate or don't celebrate, right? I mean, now there's Galentine's Day, there's Anti-Valentine's Day, there's, I don't know, there's other.
There's so much.
It's just Friday. So, doing anything special, Michael?
I am. Yes, we're going to. A friend of mine is the bar in front of house manager at Cornelia in the AKG, and they were doing like a pre-fix menu. It's like wasn't that much. It was like $250, and it came with 5 courses, a bottle of wine, a charcuterie board, all this stuff. So we're going to be there tonight at 7:30, and it's seating out in the atrium area there.
nice.
So
Oh, classy.
I am
Very.
I'm very excited.
Oh,
The
that's
food there is really
beautiful.
good. Like
It
we'll
is
get
really
if we're
good.
there, we'll just get like lunch or something, and for a museum cafe. Yeah,
Really
that's
what,
really
really what
fancy.
sold me as the dessert on the menu was a red velvet creme brulee.
Ooh,
That
sounds
just checked every box
delicious.
that I had. So
You don't even need the rest of it.
correct. I'll
Just-
be
No,
eating
yeah.
a whole meal simply for the dessert.
I
So
love
that's what we're up to.
Oh yeah.
That's great. Anybody else have any plans? Did anybody you've got
Besides
Well,
Gabby has
opening
a,
my show.
yes.
Happy Valentine's Day to you. That is your love, right?
Yeah, I mean it's my first love.
Yes.
but my second love, my boyfriend, will be coming. He'll be coming tonight, and it'll be fabulous. And we'll go out for dinner. It'll be real cute. But I'm actually going to celebrate tomorrow when I go do some pottery together, and we cook some
I
dinner
like
together.
that.
That'll be really
Yeah, and it'll be
nice.
real cute because I will be at my show.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Yes.
and we are going to talk all about that show because we were very
so
excited about it. But that's nice that you're taking a break and you get to do dinner and
Yeah.
have a moment. Naila.
I'm not y'all are so interesting and invested in the date now. I just like to just go home and go to sleep. My husband and I are very much like no kids, sleep.
Yeah.
Or a movie just because it's hard, and I had to work all day
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
so it doesn't really feel like a Valentine's Day. That's like a everyday thing
Yeah.
Yeah.
for us in that way. But yeah, definitely catching up on rest.
Well,
That's
and when you're
real.
busy, sometimes just that pause. Are you going to try to watch a movie or anything and then just
Yes, there's some like sci-fi movie he wants to watch, so that's my Valentine's Day take. Like that's my offering is to watch the sci-fi.
Oh, that's a gift. That's
Well,
very
he
special.
watches my dramas and like black movies on Netflix. So
So you're like, I'll
like-
give you this one.
so
like,
I'll give him his
I'll watch
sci-fi.
it.
right? Yeah.
He's like the board or something, like I don't know, something like that.
I'm really bad about romance movies because I'm just not into them. So I think I need you to. I need but people have suggested movies to me or shows, and I'm like, okay, I probably should watch this because it's heartfelt.
They're
And then
so
I-
sad though. I can watch
They're
a comedy
always
all day.
sad. Why?
I don't know. I watched the one with Ava, what's her name? Saldana, Zoe Saldana. The
Oh,
one on
yeah,
Netflix
yeah, yeah.
that was like very sad. I couldn't even
my.
I'm
really
like, this is
finish
gonna
it.
be sad. I can't. do it.
Yeah.
I'm all about those like love stories that weave themselves into an action story.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
that's what I like to watch. Like Lost City, I'd watch that, and that's romance to me, right? And that's fun.
Yeah.
But I like to watch like a real romance, like love movie. I'll fall asleep.
Well,
I
people
will.
have different ideas of romance. Maybe sci-fi is. People have different love languages.
Oh, my husband loves the sci-fi. That is his love language. I think we watched Alien, the most recent Alien, and he had to explain a lot to me halfway through because I was like, "Oh, I thought I saw it." He was like, "That's definitely Predator," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, okay, different.
It's different.
Different
It's
things. Different
Well, I remember
things.
Predator, but it's not the same.
Yeah, but they had one that was together, so basically
That's what
kind of.
that's what I thought, and he was like, "That's not different one." I was like, "Okay."
That's a romantic conversation.
Right.
Galentine's events, which are fun. I mean, I guess technically that was last night, Thursday night, but just girls getting together and celebrating, and that seems to be more prevalent now too. So, I mean, I don't know. It seems like there's like wine, chocolate, or whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, we like to dance, so
Yeah.
we'll get our wine and our chocolates, and we'll get our like little charcuterie boards and all that together, and we'll turn up in someone's apartment, and we'll have the best time all night with just the girls.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of events happening like outside, though sometimes we like to keep it just amongst us.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
Yeah.
And it was just fabulous because we get to celebrate ourselves and get all pretty for each other, and it's real cute.
Yeah. And to just I think just having a day to remind yourself to do that, especially when you're, busy and you guys are all involved in about 10
Yeah.
different things in your professional lives. Because I was always the person that was just like, oh, gimmicky things. But now that I am a busy person and have a family, I think you do need those calendar dates sometimes
Yeah.
to
That's
remind
true. Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
It is very easy to be like, these are manufactured holidays,
Yeah.
and in a way that most of them are. But when you're busy, it does give you the break to be like, oh, like I'm going to go out to dinner on this night. Like
Yes.
it
Yes.
does
Yes.
remind you that you have to slow down sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, Saint Valentine's Day isn't that a religious?
Yes,
holiday?
well, yeah,
that.
the Saints, yeah.
I don't know. I'm out. I'm out.
This
I
might
don't
be the
know.
wrong crew for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I
I was gonna say,
forgot
I
that
don't know.
happened.
Nobody
Yeah.
knows. I don't think. I think anybody can celebrate, but I guess that's where it started. But so didn't St. Patrick's Day, and what is that's turned into?
Oh yeah, just go out,
That
hang
was
out, drink. Oh,
religious?
just,
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like
It's a saint.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean,
saint.
I
It
mean,
was
like
supposed to be.
we've strayed very far from God's light there, but that is in theory, yeah, a religious holiday. I think.
In theory.
Oh, that's so funny. So, any other favorite romantic movies or shows, or actually to the other side of it, like I don't need romance, breakup movies, breakup shows.
oh, the breakup is always a great, like the actual breakup
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
with Jennifer Aniston
Oh, okay.
was always.
Oh yeah,
Vince
yeah.
Vaughn, like that's a classic.
Yes,
Real
yes.
cute.
And there's humor in that.
Yeah,
I think I
that's-
always need the humor. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of there's not movies I can think of in terms of like Valentine's Day, but like one of my favorite movies that is just literally all love is Moulin Rouge. Like the whole
Oh,
thing
yes,
is
okay.
just about
Red
love
and
and
I can
red
see
and
that.
colors, and it's sort
Yeah.
of just like, and it's basically just La Boheme, so like you know where that's going. But it's that's something that I always think about just when I think about love. 'Cause That's
Yeah.
just what the movie's about.
Okay.
I have been watching Harlem though. On it's
Oh, I
I
love
know
Harlem.
it's
Oh my
ending the
God.
3rd season
Oh.
on Amazon. It's so good,
Yeah.
but it's like a realistic view on love and relationships and how
Yeah.
they can be great or not great. And
Oh, you know what's another great one? First Wives Club.
oh yes, that was good.
well, yes,
First
that
Wives
is
Club. Yes,
amazing.
yes.
The First Wives Club is
is
incredible.
That
classic.
that made me. That's like something that I would watch, like lovey-dovey.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, not even lovey-dovey. It's really complex.
I
But
should watch that again. I just wrote
Oh,
that.
got
I
to.
remember it was
so
when
amazing.
Ariana Grande was here for the Sweetener tour, 17, 18, that when she did Thank You Next at the end, they were in the You Don't Owe Me outfits. and she's singing the song, and she was in the First Wives Club, those like white, and they were all doing the chorus. I was living. I was like,
love that.
this is a reference
That's
that
a
is
classic.
for me. I was, yeah, incredible.
I
Pretty
will
good
say I've been
Galentine's.
getting recently into British mystery movies. Do you ever watch those, like the Harlem movies on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
You'll be addicted, but it's
Yeah.
fabulous.
Okay.
I'm all like, did they do it? Did they do it? Should not do it? It gets you wrapped in.
Well, and they're not, I don't know, in comparison to some of the mystery or action movies in the U.S., they're not, like, violent. Like,
No,
I feel like
not
their
at all.
guns are fake. Like,
Oh,
or
yes.
they don't
Oh, yeah.
even have guns. Yeah, it's
The
all
violence
like,
is not
no,
good.
there's no
Like-
violence. So I like it better because like if things get too violent, it's more of like a thinking thing. You
For
know what
sure.
I mean? I'm like, yeah, I'm just like. It's just funny because even when they fight, they don't really fight. Like there's no like
No, and then like
collisions
it
of- yeah.
cuts to the next scene.
Yeah,
It's like everything's like anticipated.
yeah, love it. Because I'm just really over violence in movies, and everything is so. And it just could be the algorithm of what my fiance watches. I don't know. I'm just like, okay, I could do this one, and then it's like 2 minutes in, somebody's bloody or something. I'm like, okay.
Isn't the algorithm something interesting though when you go on someone's like Netflix or like any other subscription? When you go and you look at their shows, you're like, oh, this says a lot about you. It's like pulling up someone's like playlist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, this says
They also
everything.
will show you different people. So this is something I think is very funny. Someone shared once like the screenshot of their Netflix, and they had the Grinch movie, and it was Jim Carrey. But when I go on my Netflix, it's Christine Baranski as Martha May Whovier. Now I'm not saying that they were not correct in targeting me, but that is a targeted algorithm.
the algorithm
and
was
I
real
think
on
I
that
know the
one.
word that they're trying to say, and I don't like it.
Well, I also, not that anybody does this, but if somebody watches your Netflix or uses your password, you're just like, who was watching that? And like somebody thinks you watched it. I'm like, I did not watch
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that's how I catch people, because if I was supposed to be watching something that says continue watching, it's like who started watching
started
this? Or like or who's on the next episode without talking to me? Like don't do that.
Yes, because, well, that's actually a good couples question. If you watch a series, if you decide, okay, we're going to watch this series together, you have to watch it together,
That's
right?
locked in.
Oh,
Matt and I are so bad at that. Not that we don't want to. There's a couple things like Traders right now. Each week we've been watching together, but it's like it's hard because especially if you have different schedules. Like I'm a night owl, he wakes up early. Like it's hard because then like one of us is like, well, I kind of want to watch it now, and so it creates a like we don't do well at watching things together.
Yeah,
So
same.
you're okay. You
We're
guys are
fine.
okay if you
Yeah.
watch it separate.
I will stop watching. Like if he, like
Gabriella's like,
if
no.
he comes in the room and I will pause. I won't spoil it for him, but we will watch like independently many things that we both watch.
I'm with Michael. I don't do. He has his own, and I have my own. And if you decide to watch it, we can talk about it together. But like our times are just so different. Like he likes to work really late at night, and I don't. And I like to be up in the morning. So like I'll catch up on things on like a weekend, or if I'm doing work and he's like night owl.
Yeah.
Like maybe finish something, or is totally not invested in anything that I'm invested in.
Oh man.
So
for
is
a
that
show.
like is this an intervention with me that I need to be a little better about that, or
No,
what? No, you.
because I'm the exact same way. Like we just started the new season of Invincible together, and I remember when we were sitting down, he was like, "Oh, the new like season's out," and I said, "Okay, babe, now look." If we start this together, we got to finish it together, right? So that means you're going to have to come over consistently because I can't watch it without you and you can't watch it without me. So it gets like really strategic in that way.
So
that
you
we
stop through midway through an episode if they can't watch with you?
Yeah, I have to wait. And that's why I'm also very picky about the shows that I choose to watch with my partner.
Oh yeah,
Well,
you do
because-
have
okay.
to.
Yeah,
See,
okay.
we
There
don't
you go.
always we don't always agree on the
Yeah.
series that we like to
Okay.
watch.
Yeah, see, that makes sense. Like, I have this other show called Mo. It's amazing.
Oh, Love Mo.
Love Mo.
Great.
Amazing show, right? It's on Netflix. And I watch that on my own. I'm like, if you jump in and you can want to see an episode or a part of an episode, that's fine. But note that I will be watching it without you. But Invincible, that's our show. So I have to
Okay,
wait
it's
for to
labeled.
watch that.
You have to label
Yeah.
it.
You have to identify
then
which is
stick with
which.
it.
Yes.
I can do that with movies.
With movies.
I could do that with a movie. Like we can
Okay.
flip flop on a
Okay.
movie.
Mm.
It's
That's
not
your
going longer than
compromise.
2 hours.
It's
But
not
I will sacrifice, and vice versa. Like I really want to watch this movie. Let's chill and watch this. We can do a movie, a series.
seriously.
I like
it
to
is
run
tough.
through, and he doesn't like my British mystery films.
Yes.
Series,
might
the
be-
dramas.
Yet.
It was funny because my fiance is the one that started watching them.
They're
And I'm like,
amazing.
what? And then I started, and then he's like, "Stop asking me so many questions. Just start watching it." And I was like, "Why is that person doing that? Why is that person?" But then he does that to me on things I don't. He doesn't think he wants to watch, and I'm like, "See, you like it."
It's so good. I'm
Oh, I
telling
gotta
y'all,
give it
I
a
will.
watch.
Just gave
Yep.
set y'all up on tea a little bit. It's really good.
Okay.
All right, so I feel like maybe I need to be a little more flexible, but I'm with you with the with if we establish it, we need to.
Right.
But also time, same. I fall asleep all the time.
Me too. Some
Some romantic places to go in Western New York or Southern Ontario or anywhere. I think this one is really funny. I actually have it in my phone, but it's on here. A non-traditional Valentine's Day. It's a good bar actually, but it's like
Come on, good bar.
you get it right. You have to make a reservation. It's like a pitcher of PBR, 2 shots.
Okay, that is incredible.
And like
That's awesome.
and Hedwig's, yeah, like okay. I think that they have people that go back there every year because they met there and that's like their anniversary and they go there for
I mean,
Valentine's Day.
it's a cheap date.
Right?
You,
I
really- you
mean,
really
yeah.
can't.
Toutante's last day.
I know.
It's closing?
Yes.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
That you guys actually probably feel that in the theater district because
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
always a theater
Anything
spot.
that's downtown is
Anything
always
downtown, I
rough
know,
when it
it's-
closes. It's
yeah.
been around
If
for
you
a
need
long
to
time.
eat
Especially
in between
food.
shows on a Saturday, you can't. There is nothing open
No,
on Main
I
Street.
know,
You
it's
need to-
sad.
You need to
Nothing.
fix that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that does not help our theater cause
No.
at all.
No, I mean I'm hoping more things go down there, but yeah, it's like everything impacts each other. So I wondered because I always thought like Toutant was always mobbed when there was theater productions.
Yeah, but that's so strange, and I wonder why they're closing.
They made it sound in their posts like it didn't like. It sounds like the building's gonna stay there with the kitchen and all that. So I think they're hoping that someone else comes
Will
in with
come
a
in,
restaurant
yeah.
idea. It's been a while since I read it. It sounded a little bit more like they had
They
just
were retiring.
They had just done
sort
a
of,
lot.
or
It was
not
like
retiring,
16
moving
years or
on,
something. And
Yeah,
they were just
the restaurant
Okay.
business
Yeah.
is hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't
That is
seem
tough.
like it was
Long
necessarily like
hours.
a rent issue or a developer issue. It seemed like it was just them maybe being like,
Gosh, now we're losing Toutant and
know.
Mr. Sizzles.
oh, yeah, I know,
Mr.
Mr.
Sizzles
Sizzles.
is
too.
doing
Oh, I didn't know that about Mr.
Yeah.
Sizzles.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
closing.
All right. Well, we are, we're talking about the theater district. We are going to get into our theater conversation coming up. And of course, as always on group chat, I'm hungry again and I'm thinking about
Food.
the food that we are talking about. So coming up next, we will get into our theater discussions and some of the amazing work you all are doing on group chat on WBFO.
Support for Group Chat is provided by our members and by the National Comedy Center.
Every time that we breathe in now, there's a new beginning. We're soaring away, we're starting today. So dive with me. We're alive, alive, alive. We're alive.
Thanks for joining us again on Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, and I'm joined by Naila Ansari-Catilo, Africana Studies professor, choreographer, podcaster, and performing artist, Michael Gilbert-Wachowiak, actor, director, and podcast host, and Gabriella McKinley, actor, director, and program director at Ujima Theater. Now, again, as when I introduced you in the beginning, I could also list all of the other productions and things that you work on. There's never a shortage. And we have some exciting things going on in theater this weekend. Gabriella, your show, tell us about it. It opens tonight.
God, I'm so excited for this to open tonight. I mean, it's still even weird hearing like Gabriella McKinley, actor, director. What?
Woohoo! Yeah, because you're the director for this.
I am the
Yes.
director for this. And it's been such a beautiful experience. I mean, from working with Second Generation to also working with Pam and Anika, the two co-stars of the play, has been absolutely fabulous. And the play is talking about some really heavy things. It's talking about history, who gets to tell it, who has the power to tell it, and how do we challenge powerful people and structures. And they're doing such a fabulous job. I mean, it's excellently written by Eleanor Burgess, and I am honored to direct it. So it's a professor and a student, right? A professor about in the 60s and a student in their 20s, early 20s, and they are discussing a thesis assignment that says the American Revolution would not have been possible without the existence of slavery. And that sparks the conversation for the rest of the play, which brings up a lot of other really deep discourse that also then turns dangerous. And without giving it too much away, I say come see it.
Well, I mean, the title of the play is Niceties.
Yes.
So talk about that in that context. 'Cause
Yes, because there's something about playing nice, especially when I think about Black Americans navigating a white world, right?
Yeah.
A white America, right? There's something about having to play nice, and then there's something about being in academia and having to play nice, that these niceties oftentimes hide a lot of really deep and dark underlying feelings and emotions and things we have to challenge and work with throughout these different ways, right? Whether it's our political systems, education systems, all these different systems, we have to play nice. I think the Niceties is allowing us to uncover a lot of that good stuff. Well, hard stuff.
Well, so did you choose to direct this play, or did this play choose you? Because I feel like it's both.
Oh yeah. So Second Generation, they do something really cool where they have a free reading series every year. So back in 2023, I was presented with a few plays to read and asked to direct one of the stage readings, and I read The Niceties, and that was the quickest I'd ever read through a play ever in my life. When I tell you, I emailed them back immediately and said, I would be honored to direct this play. Please let me direct this play. I love you. Thank you. And then we had the stage reading. It went fabulously. The audience response was amazing. We probably sat around and had our post-show discussion for like an hour. And then they said, okay, we have to produce this. And Gabby, we would love for you to direct. And I enthusiastically said, yes, please.
Yeah.
So that's how I came to the piece, and it's been dear in my heart ever since.
And sometimes you have to put yourself out there too, because there's, a good amount of us in theater, and sometimes people don't know if they don't know. So when you put yourself out there and say, hey, I want to direct this. This is something that's close to me.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Especially when you're moving into a different segment that you may not like. Everyone knows you as an actor, and but it's getting into a whole different field.
Yeah.
In like a whole new way.
All right, and I was just talking to Michael about that this is only the second play I've directed, and the other one became more of a staged reading. So this is really my first realized play, and I'm glad it's such a beautifully poignant piece to be doing, and I have a fabulous team because it's basically my introduction to the community as a director.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a really big deal. And it's a really beautiful piece, so I'm really excited for folks to come out and see it.
And it's running, so it starts this weekend. It starts tonight, and it runs until March 2nd.
Yes.
Which really isn't a long time. So if you even think you want to go see it, get out and see it, because life gets in.
Yes.
This always happens to me with plays. Life happens. I say, I'm going to go see this play, and then before you know it, it's 2 weeks later, and then it's on to the next.
This one, we have some really great things happening as well, right? We have
Our
our panel, right? Our post-show panels.
Yes,
right? So
please
Naila's
tell
gonna
me. Please tell me.
March 2nd.
Yes. So Naila's going to be with us. We have our dramaturge, Nicole, who's also going to be speaking at one of the panels. We have some students coming, some student groups coming. We have a lot of post-show discussions all throughout the run, actually. So it's really a fabulous show, and the discussion afterwards is going to be, I wish I had a better word than relevant and beautiful, all those words. Right. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be life-changing.
Why are post-show discussions important? Why do you do these?
I think it gives people additional context, because sometimes when you get so involved in a play, one thing I love to say is we might not necessarily be physicians, but we're healers in a different way.
Yeah.
Meaning that when people are going through things in their life for that hour and a half or 2 hours or 3 hours, they forget about their issues. So they really get locked into a story. So sometimes the panel allows you to see and put it in context in what's happening right now societally, because things about a threat of the Department of Education going away, this is even more timely. And I can say, as an academic, a lot of us can live in the ivory tower, as they call it, and not actually engage in community work. So we can research a lot of it, but we don't necessarily go to the ground and do that work that we talk about all the time, or that we read and we write about all the time. So this is such a significant piece right now in the world, in the times that we're living in, because education is such a threat, and with the banning of our books, potentially, or even things like in Africana studies that I'm in, or theater,
Theater,
LGBTQ,
the arts.
WGS, women and gender studies, sexuality studies, all of those, people don't like them right now, because we're allowed to tell stories that have historically been erased for a lot of reasons, so that certain different groups of people can have power. So this is so timely right now in the world, for sure.
And it's a different way for people to digest and look at it and experience it too, because we're all full of headlines right now and in social media, and there's times where you have to be aware, but you want to be away from it. So how do you maybe digest that in a different way?
It's also even different than a movie, because these people are in front of you. I feel like sometimes it's very easy with a TV or film to there can be a disconnect where like, oh, that's happening, but I don't know those people, or I can't see them. Actually seeing these two people have the conversation in front of you, whether you identify with like one or the other in terms of where your background is, but then especially having these post-show discussions led by people who can talk you through, it allows you to process it in the moment and not just sit there and be like, okay, well, whatever. You actually have to think about what you just saw.
And you know what's beautiful is I know this play does it, right? It's so thought-provoking that when we did the stage reading, the discussion afterwards, most of it wasn't like questions for the actors. It was commentary and comments about how they were affected, reflections on what they saw in their own lives and the people they knew. And that's the power of theater. Right, that's the power of storytelling, live storytelling before your eyes, is that we have the power to influence and bring forth these conversations, these difficult conversations, and make people think back on their own experiences. It's beautiful.
And that really is doing the groundwork, too.
Yeah.
If you are trying to reach people and talk to people and put things in people's heads, especially now, why is it so important to support theater and the arts right now? We're having those conversations, obviously, because of the topics of the plays. But why do people really need to be experiencing these things now and going to theater?
Because art is the first thing that challenges the status quo or division or politics, because we are truth tellers. You know, it might not necessarily always be in a theatrical sense. It could be visual art. It could be radio. It could be documentaries. But it's a way for us to be able to unapologetically express ourselves and the conditions in which people are living in, because propaganda and political propaganda is real. And like I talked about a little earlier with choreographing empathy, politics is that. Propaganda is that. I can choreograph people to believe whatever I want to believe in, which is why the arts are so powerful, which is why we are a threat right now. You know, the arts community, I think we have to come together more than ever, particularly in terms of advocacy and raising money, because a lot of, especially now with like federal dollars, we get federal funding for a lot of our arts organizations, and the threat of us being able to tell stories that some people may not want us to tell is scary for some people. So what do? They try to cut that bottom line, but what they don't know is like people was doing art for free a long time ago, and any artist is not doing it for the money. That's
yes.
We are all not Kendrick out here.
No,
exactly. And he's an artist in his own right, but also you know, he's making, you know, a substantial amount of money that the average artist isn't making, because it's not about that. It's about the work that we're trying to do, the storytelling we're trying to give, and to give a realistic experience of how people are actually living. And so it's by design, and not by design in certain ways, but a lot of science organizations are reaching out to artists so that they can help explain climate change or like environmental science. So because, you know, everybody's not going to sit there and read, you know, a peer-reviewed document that only 7 people, I think, on average read anyway. But they will go see a show, right? Or they will go listen to a podcast, or they will listen to radio, or they will, you know, watch a film or a documentary on it, or watch, you know, or look at a huge public art display to say, oh, maybe I shouldn't be wasting water like this.
Do you feel more of a responsibility now?
Oh God. I mean, yeah, I feel like it's more of a responsibility to not like back down and not be scared of these things and not get complacent, because it can. And I've even said this to some friends. You know, someone will send me a link of the most recent crazy thing that's been said, and it's like, I can't actually spend my day doing that. Like, I will read about it, but like I can't get it in real time. But so because that can feel so punishing with the way the world is, you have to just be more committed to moving forward with your art and whatever it is, and creating or like leading or just doing any version of it, because that's, you know, we can't let this time become like a dark time for art. We need to let it persevere and continue so that when we're at a better place, and not, as they try to take away and tell you what's bad, holding on to that, because it's not. And you need to remember that there's strength in all of that, and not let one people or a group of people tell you what is important and what is impactful and what stories matter.
Now, Naila, you started casting for Dreamgirls, but it was before a lot of we kind of saw the writing on the wall, what could happen, but it was really before things started happening. So what has been your journey with that? Where are you at? When does the show come out?
We're still casting. So we have callbacks tonight and later in the February.
Yeah.
Think of the day. And then we open in September, so we start rehearsals in August, and we open during curtain up September 11th through the 28th. So it's still a journey. We're still very early in the process of production. For people that don't know, it is not like we just go to rehearsal and start. It's like a year's long worth of production meetings and a lot of things that happen to put a show up. So that's where we are now. So we're looking for folks to come on out.
So you're casting, and then are you involved in other elements, choreography? Because I know, yes, okay.
I'll be doing choreography, and then Karen will also be co-directing and doing Karen Saxon musical directing as well.
Yeah, okay. And this is at Shays.
Yes. 710. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are some of the things that excite you, obviously, about this play, but as you're going through the motions of your everyday life and teaching, and are your perspectives changing? Are you looking at the play in different ways?
Yeah, always. I mean, it's always interesting when you have an older play and you're trying to kind of connect to what's happening right now.
Yeah.
But what you really quickly realize, like, things don't change that much.
Yeah.
Like, we're actually still in the same situation that we've always been in.
Yeah.
It just may look a little different. It may feel like it's a little bit more liberal. It may feel like you have a little bit more freedom. But at the end of the day, the system still functions the same way, which, to go back to Kendrick's performance, you know, the world of music has not really changed much.
Right.
And people really don't have ownership of who they are or their copyrights of their materials and things like this, which is big factors in the show. And sometimes it's not just, you know, folks that don't look like you, it's your own folks that put you in those situations.
So that is something that, even though it's an older play, you're seeing those same themes.
Oh, yeah.
Resurfacing.
Diana Ross, first of all, is still alive and well. So
And looking great.
and looking great.
Yep.
And so is her story. So.
Yeah.
But I'm also working on Ride the Cyclone. And for us, I have to shout out my students at Buffalo State that opens March 13th.
I can't wait to see
Yes,
that.
I know. It's such, they're so excited. It's definitely, I would say, a play for their generation. And they were so hyped because I was like, what is Ride the Cyclone?
Yeah,
I
can
love
you
that.
tell me?
Yes.
Because I mean, it sounds.
It's definitely. I always say. I just told Mike. I was like, it's kind of like our version of like Rocky Picture Horror Show. Not necessarily the same, but you know, how, like people, like our parents were like, "What are you watching? Like, what is this?"
Yeah.
That's like Ride the Cyclone for like
Okay.
Gen Z.
All right, well, sign me
can
up.
see that.
Yes,
I
these
can see that.
these school students, they, you know, go into this other world. They were on a roller coaster, and then they all are trying to like find themselves and you know, go through their different life journeys. So it's interesting.
And that opens March 13th.
Yes,
And that is, does that happen on campus?
Yes, it's on campus at Buffalo State in the Flex Theater in Donald Savage.
Okay. All right. And then how long of a run is that?
Just for a week, so we
Okay.
have it not too long, but long enough for our students to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's different with students.
It
too,
is.
probably, right?
And they have school and
Yeah.
spring break and all of the things.
Yeah.
So they have previews. So they have a week of previews, and they've been working so hard.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds. Yeah. It was funny when Naila was talking about that when she walked in the room. I'm like, that sounds like a very interesting title, but I don't know anything.
Oh, it's great.
about
It sounds like it
Yeah.
looks exactly like it sounds.
Yeah.
We're all riding the cyclone.
I saw it at MCC Theater like many years ago, and I tell you, it was awesome. Like, especially when you're talking about young people, like trying to like, it's such a not even coming of age really, but really like it's self-discovery in all these different mediums. It's awesome. I can't wait to see it.
And Michael, you are working.
Yes,
and
so-
you have something exciting.
Yeah, I'm doing sort of like pre-production now for Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which is with Second Generation Theater, which is where the Niceties is opening tonight. We open May 2nd, so I'm sort of in the pre-production phase where we'll start rehearsal around April. So we're having production meetings, love production meetings. And we're working through everything, meeting with all the designers and staff. It's for anyone who doesn't know the show, it's a like rock musical about this genderqueer immigrant, so really pertinent right now.
Yes.
Perfect. About I don't want to get too into it, about someone who comes to America and has some things happen to them which create some trauma, and they met someone who they wrote music with, who basically, similar to the Dreamgirls story, stole some of their material, and they're going on this big major tour, and Hedwig and her band, the Angry Inch, are following him around and performing at like the smaller, worse venues next door. And so it's set sort of at you're coming into, you know, an old dive bar, and you're watching Hedwig perform and basically telling her entire story with her and her roadie Yitzhak. And so it's through that, it's like 90 minutes of just, and when I say rock music, what I like about the show is it's like actual rock music. It's not like we love Rent, but like,
Right.
it's not that. It is a 4-band, really going and really exciting. It's written by John Cameron Mitchell and Stephen Trask, and they wrote it in the 90s, and it was a big off-Broadway hit. Then they brought it to Broadway in the with Neil Patrick Harris in like 2014. So I'm really excited to really start to dig into it. And starring Vanadu, who is a local
Yeah.
drag
Mhm.
star, and
Love it.
it's Vanadu and Chris Barlameo is playing Yitzhak, and so the two of them are gonna just knock it out of the park. I'm
And
so
where
excited.
can we see that again?
That's going to be at the Shea Smith
At the
Theater
Shea
with
Smith,
Second
okay.
Generation opening
Okay.
on May 2nd. I
Okay.
think to the 18th. It's similarly a 3-week run.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, and there's going to be a lot opening in the spring. So it's going
Yeah,
to be
I
a busy
feel
time
I
of
actually had to
year.
have somebody remind me when like Curtain Up was. I'm like, is this Curtain? Like, there's so
well,
many.
so
well,
much.
well,
So
we
much,
also
but-
always joke that there's waves. There's Curtain
Yeah,
Up,
yes.
everything opens in. There's a lot that happens in like this time of March. There's a lot, and
Yeah.
then like
Everything.
May.
Yeah.
Like May,
Okay.
it's like there will be like 12 musicals.
It's the third
running at
push.
one
Yeah,
point in some
it's
point.
like, think of it like a athletic season, like a basketball
Yes.
season.
Sort of
We have the
goes.
same thing with like theater worlds.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No. See, that's
So save,
I'm
so
just
everybody
giving
save their coins so they can go see multiple shows.
Yes.
Correct.
And get out of their misery every time. They
Yes.
get to go see one for a little bit.
all right. So plans for the weekend, Gabriella. We know
Yeah.
what you're doing
I am doing clay pottery
and opening your show
and opening my show, and I'm probably gonna go see them a few more times after
Yeah.
opening night. So yeah, I'm hanging out doing some Valentine's Day things with my boyfriend and loving the work that the beautiful team with at Second Generation Theater has produced with me and my awesome cast. That's gonna be my weekend.
Just a couple of things.
Just
you
a
know?
couple of things. Just nothing big.
Michael, you're going to the AKG
Tonight, and then on Sunday, I'm actually doing a little Galentine's thing with some of my friends on Sunday. We're
double
going,
hitter.
I
I
know
love
we're
it.
going to brunch. I don't know. It's somewhere. I have to check what's in the chat. I don't remember where it is, but I know it's at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I will be there.
Well, we have our Sundays back now because of football being
Yes,
over.
Yeah, that's
football is
true.
you
back,
know?
which honestly, did take an adjustment. I was like, I woke up. I go, I have nothing to do today. I don't have to put on my snow bib and trot down to Orchard Park at 8 a.m.
Yeah. So now you can do brunch.
Correct.
And Naila.
I'll be relaxing tonight, and then we'll have a family friends dinner on Sunday.
Nice.
Love it.
Sounds
Love it.
beautiful.
I'm about to go, being Valentine's Day. So on the bridge at WBFO, we do music. We do music at night, but music during the day on the HD2. And we're doing Valentine's love songs versus breakup songs. Because you gotta
Ooh, you gotta have
cater to
both.
the people that
Correct,
are
yeah,
sad
yeah,
too,
yeah.
because it just depends on the year, So
Right, that's true.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, I don't have favorites. I never say I have favorites, but this is a favorite crew right here. That wraps up today's episode of Group Chat for now. If you want to continue the conversation, make sure you follow us on Instagram at WBFO News. Group Chat is a program produced by Buffalo Toronto Public Media. We bring you engaging conversations about art, music, theater, and everything in popular culture from all different local perspectives. Do me a favor. Sign up now to learn more about how to protect public media and programs like this at protectmypublicmedia.org. And I'd like to thank my guest, Naila Ansari-Catilo, and Michael Gilbert-Wachowiak, and Gabriella McKinley. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for listening.
Support for Group Chat is provided by our members and by the National Comedy Center.